The global stock market's daily trading volume averages $264 billion worldwide, and this is broken down into the daily average of $50 billion in the United States, £6 billion in the UK, and $4.5 billion Australian dollars in Australia alone. For the past 200 years, we've all been trading via the traditional stock market, a tried and tested way of investment, a regulated, centralized and geographically limited market, offering an extremely low speed of liquidity. And in 2017 came the global ICO craze, where over 430 cryptocurrencies emerged, amassing a total of $5 billion worth of coins. However, most of these coins failed in a spectacular fashion due to lack of regulation. ICO, also known as Initial Coin Offering, is a decentralized blockchain concept which boasts global availability. However, it is not available for listing on major exchanges, thus the reason it lacks control and regulation. A major shift is happening in the world of finance right now as we speak. S.T.O, also known as Security Token Offering, is offering the best of both worlds, securing its place as the next big thing since ICOs. S.T.O uses blockchain technology and it is regulated under the traditional stock market. This allows blockchain and cryptocurrencies to restore some much-needed credibility. While traditional securities are slow and expensive, security tokens facilitate services at a lower cost. They are also traded on specialized security exchanges, providing investors with a convenient way to liquidate their assets. With S.T.O, we are no longer restricted geographically, as borders or regional regulations do not limit security tokens. Whether we like it or not, the world is rapidly changing right in front of our eyes, and our capability to transform and adapt is what ensures both our survival and success. Welcome to the equilibrium, a state in which opposing forces or influences are balanced, because for every yin, there will be a yang. And much like yin and yang, achieving the ideal balance between the two markets is vital to the progress of the financial ecosystem, and that is the guiding principle at the heart of Uni-Equilibrium, or Uni-E, the new token created within the Unihash Smart Contract blockchain technology. A total of 420 million coins will be issued, with 40% released via mining. Uni-E is the base cryptocurrency for S.T.O transactions, and the Unihash board is the S.T.O gateway under the Sydney Stock Exchange. With more than 2,000 companies featured in the Unihash board soon, the choices and potential are truly limitless. This is a call to action, to be a part of an ecosystem where all the action lies. The birth of a new arena, where you get the best of both worlds. The start of a new dream, where you can trade with peace of mind. And that is the beauty of the equilibrium.
One. WP the podcast about podcast, a podcast for WP professionals about design, development, business, marketing and more. Frequency about 4 posts per week. Since September 2017 podcast P.O.W.E.R.com/podcast Facebook fans 167. Twitter followers 16. 2. The WP Elevation Podcast Australia about podcast. The WP Elevation Podcast is the premier WordPress business podcast and brings you interviews with successful entrepreneurs in the WordPress industry to help you build a successful WordPress business. Frequency about 3 posts per month. Podcast Elevation.com/podcast Facebook fans 13,866. Twitter followers 4,128. 3. WordPress Weekly about podcast, the show dedicated to all things WordPress. The show specializes in covering the news throughout the WordPress community as well as special interviews with all of the smart people that make up the WordPress community. Frequency about 3 posts per month. Podcast Tavern.com/category/podcast. Facebook fans 4,191. Twitter followers 27,683. 4. Matt Report, a WordPress podcast for digital business owners, Boston, Massachusetts about podcast. This is clarity for your digital business. Episodes help you better understand WordPress and its ecosystem. Matt talks to developers, designers, consultants and other business owners to learn from their success and mistakes. If you're looking for new strategies or tips for your WordPress-powered business, this is the place for you. Frequency about 1 post per month. Since November 2014 Podcast Matt Report. .com/all episodes. Facebook fans 501. Twitter followers 4,418. 5. W.P.O.W.E.R WordPress Podcast Washington, D.C. About podcast. Follow this podcast if you are looking for a WordPress podcast that's entirely focused on growing successful WordPress businesses and monthly recurring revenue without taking itself too seriously. Frequency about 1 post per week. Since September 2018 Podcast W.P.O.W.E.R. .com/podcast. Facebook fans NA. Twitter followers 1,279. 6. Water Cooler, weekly WordPress talk show. Los Angeles, California. About podcast WordPress from install to publish. Water Cooler is a live video roundtable discussion from WordPress professionals from around the industry who offer tips, best practices and lively debate on how to put the content management system to use. Frequency about 3 posts per month. Since September 2012 Podcast Water Cooler. .com/shows/wa. Facebook fans 607. Twitter followers 3,629. 7. The WordPress Photography Podcast Boulder, Colorado. About podcast, the podcast for photographers looking to learn and do more with their WordPress photography websites.